Hello and welcome. This is Amaka, the Excel coach, and in this training, I'll be showing you how to design a dynamic search box that filters partial and exact match across multiple columns in Excel. In my previous trainings, the first training I showed you how to design a dynamic search box that filters just the exact match in a single column. And in the second training, I also showed you how to design a dynamic search box that filters both partial and exact match from a specific column. So I'll just show you what we did in our previous training so that you will better appreciate what we'll be doing into this training. So let's go. Now, this is the first training, and in this training, we were searching based on the first name on our database, and it has to be the exact word. If it's not the exact word, it will pop up not found. So I put this, you see, we don't have the word crack. So you have to put in the exact word into your search box to have it filtered out. That was what I showed you in the first training. And in the second training, design a search box that filters the exact and partial match based on the department column of our database. So the partial and exact match is based on the department column. So if I type in just a letter that is present in the department, it pops up. So if I say F, so because F is only found in finance, you see, I don't need to type the entire finance. Unlike the first training where I have to type the entire word finance for it to search for that word, right? So if you put in add, there's no word like FAD. So let's try the word add. So you see admin because there is a word ADM, right? So you don't need to write it full word and it's searching based on the department column. So in today's training, what I'll be showing you is how to design a search box that search across multiple columns. This is how it's going to work. So if you notice, we just input FIN and finance. So this search box search both partial and exact match across multiple columns. So if I input just F, you notice that I just don't have F finance here. It searches both the first column where there is an appearance of F, the second column and the third column. So if you look at this, here we have F here. It's not finance here, it's just F. So if you look at this place, we have F here, free. So it searches across the three columns where there is an appearance of an exact word or a partial word, right? So this one is searching across the entire column on our database. This is what I'll be showing you into this training. So what are the features we'll be using in designing this search box? We'll be activating our developers tab first. We'll insert a text box under the ActiveX control, which is under the developers tab. We'll use the search function, the ISNUMBER function, the index function, the rows and column function, the small function. We'll also be using the if function and if error function to be able to control any errors that will appear. Right. So let's go in and let me show you how we'll be designing this particular search box that filters both exact match and partial match. But before we go in, you'll notice that I have some helper column in here which I've hidden. I will just unhide it. So these are the columns I use to put in the formulas for better understanding. And after you're done, you just hide those columns because you won't be needing it. All right. So those are the helpers columns we'll be using. So let's go right in and just start off with designing the search box. For the first thing we'll be doing is to activate our developers tab. As you can see, my developers tab is active. If yours is not active, just hover anywhere around the code. So you might be on the home tab, not to worry, just hover anywhere around the ribbon, the Excel ribbon, and right click. So you click on customize ribbon. Now ensure the popular command is up. You see your main tabs. Your main tabs, notice the developer tab must be active. You see your main tab, insert. These are all the tabs on your ribbon. You see home, insert, draw, page layout. So you can see them all checked. For the ones that are not checked, they are not activated on your ribbon. So I have the developer tab activated on my ribbon. That's why it's checked. So if yours is not checked, just check it and click OK. And there you go. You've activated the developers tab. So the next thing we'll do is to insert a text box, which will serve as our search box. And you go to the developers tab, you click on the insert under the control tools, you see an insert option, click on it and come to the ActiveX control section, select the text box. Good. Now we'll have to insert it, just cover your code. So when the plus sign comes up, press the Alt key and left click. Good. So this helps you to impute that for the text box to fit into the cell you want to place it into. So Alt key, then you left click. All right. So we've inserted a text box which will serve as our search box. So your design mode is active, and while your design mode is active, you just right click on it and click on the properties. And what are we about doing? We want to link the cell where we place the text box on. We want to link that cell to the text box so that whatever we type in the text box will appear on the cell. So we place our text box, which is our search box, on G1, cell G1. So I will link it. So you come to this point, you say link cell, just place G1 because we placed the text box on G1. So we want to link that text box to G1, right? So that's why we are linking it to cell G1. Good. Just close it and there you go. So how will you know it's linked? Just deactivate design mode so that we can type in. I will just put in finance. Good. Activate it again. Push it up here. So you notice finance is here, finance is also here. So let's try another word so that you can see how it works. Operation. So you see, and for any word you type into the text box, it appears in cell G1. That's the effect of linking the cell to the text box, which we just did, right? So we are done with it. We'll just activate the design mode to place it back on the cell. Good. And here we go. Our search box is ready. So the next thing we'll be doing, deactivate the design board. The next thing we'll be doing is to impute our formulas, and we'll be using the helper columns for our formula. For the first helper column, all we want to do is to impute a formula that will give us serial numbers of all the data on our database, right? Serial numbers. So we'll be using the row function, rows function, rows. And I'll be referencing the cell I4, that's the cell where the formula is. I4 to I4. Well, I'm making the first I4 absolute by pressing F4 and closing the bracket. So if I fill the formula downwards, you notice it gives me serial number 1 to 17, and that is what I need in the first helper column. Now for the second helper column, we'll be imputing the search function. So what are we searching? I want Excel to search for the word in our search box and check out if it's in this first column. All right, we'll search for this word, check it out if it's in the first column. So I'm searching for the word in G1. Where am I searching for it? In this first column. All right, so I'll make G1 absolute by pressing F4. Then close the brackets. Good. Now, because operations is not the same thing as the word in A4, which is where we are referenced. If you look at it, you'll notice that G1 we have operations, but it's not found in A4. That's why you're seeing the value there. That's why you're seeing the value there. Not to worry, it's okay. So, but what are we trying to do? We want to check if what is in G1 is there. All right. So let me just impute Daniel so that you can see. It will bring about a number. To search for it. If it finds it, it will bring about a number. Good. So you can see because Daniel is the same thing as what we have in A4, it brought about a number. All right. So the next thing we want to do is to wrap this search, wrap the ISNUMBER around it, or wrap the ISNUMBER number around it, saying that if the search result is a number, it should return true. If the search result is a number, it should return true. Good. So because the search result is a number, it returns 2. So we're going to be tweaking the formula in this second column a bit from what we did from in our previous training. Here, because we want the search box to search across the 3 column, not just first name, because now the only thing we are testing is searching for the word in our search box in column A, right? So we want it to also search for it in column B, column C, across all the data on our database. So what we'll be doing is just to tweak this formula a bit, just copy the entire formula, copy it, then come to the end. Let's go to our formula tab so that you'll understand. Put a plus and Control V. Now, instead of A4, it will be B4. It will be B4. Good. So you add again, test for the third column, Control V. Instead of A4, you have C4. Good. And there you go. So notice it's showing 1. So we are testing this is showing 1. So the next thing we want to do is to grab if the if function. So if it's 1, it should return. If it's a number, if this is a number, it should return this. But if it is not a number, it should just leave it empty. So I will just put an if function across it. If this is a number, it should return what is in the cell, the serial number here. But if it is not a number, it should return empty. Good. So just fill in the number downwards, fill in the formula down. Good. So you see, you search for it, and if it brings up a number, Daniel is in 1 and Daniel is in 14. Are you seeing? So it search for it. If it sees it, it pops it up. It gives us the serial number where the number is appearing. But if it is not, if it doesn't exist, just give us empty. All right. So you see Daniel, because we're searching for a full word. So if I just put D, because it's both partial, you see, more search are popping up. So it will check the first column, second column, third column where there is D, D. But because we input the exact word we are looking for, when you want to really search for an exact word, if you put it, it will just look for that word. When you put a partial word, wherever there is D, whether in the first, second, or third column, it will appear. Right. So the third column, in the third helper column, we'll just arrange our search result, because you can see we are having spaces here. So we want it to appear in an ascending order. We want the results here to appear in an ascending order. Then we'll be using the small function alongside the rows function. So the small function returns the smallest number in a range. But we'll be using the small function alongside the row function. So we are saying check this array and return, make it absolute, return the first smallest number for the first row. When we fill down, return the second smallest, so it will return it in a ascending order. So we're using rows here, rows, so that you can return it in an ascending order. Now we'll be referencing K4, which is the cell we are in. Make it absolute to bring about serial number to K4. Now close the bracket. Good. So good. So for it will return the first smallest number subsequently. Good. So you see the first smallest number. So let's say we have Daniel. We'll make it Daniel. Watch what happens. So it brought about 1 and 14. So it brings the result here will be arranged in an ascending order. All right. So to deal with this error, you just wrap an if error function around it. If error, if it's an error, just give us a blank cell. Good. So just fill downwards and there we go. Good. Okay, to test the formula now, we've already inputted the formula into this three helpers column to help us understand how the formula works. So we'll just be using the third helper column in our formula here. So we'll use the index function, start with equal to index. So what are we looking at? This is our array. We'll make it absolute by pressing F4. And the row number is this cell. Make the column absolute so that if we move the cell across, it will not, the column will not change. Then what is our column number? We'll use the columns, and we'll reference E4, make the E4 to E4, reference E4 to E4. So we want the column number to keep increasing while we drag it across. That's why we're using the columns. So if I drag it this way, watch what happens. Good. You notice that the entire thing you fill downwards. Good. So that's what we want. So where is this word appearing for row 14 and row 1 and row 14 of our database? 1 and 14. So it pops it up, and the rest that it's not appearing, it brings up this value. So to handle the error, the value error, you just wrap the if error around it. If it's an error, just give us empty and close the bracket. Good. So we fill across and fill downwards. Good. Good. So here we go. So let's see what. So because it's just D is now search box. It will look for where D is appearing in each of this column and bring up those words, the entire row, words for that row. So D is here. You see D is here. D, you can also find D here. See D is here. D is in the third, AD admin. D is here in the second. So it brings that. So if you want an exact word, you have to type the word in full. Right. If you want an exact word, you have to type the word in full. If I say Daniel, see, it has to bring out DAN. Can we find DAN? So Daniel. So that's how this search box works. So it searches the word across the tree column and filter it out in the filter result area. Right. So when you're done, you can just close your helper column just for your own personal use to help you understand how the formula works. Right. So let me input operations. Good. So all the operation OPER. If I want to make it to write the full words, it pops up. Right. You may not even need to write the full word because there's no other word that is OPER. It's just operations. Right. So that is how the search box that filters both exact and partial match across multiple columns works in Excel. I believe you've gotten value from this. If you have, do well to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload value tips on this channel. Do well to share with as many that you know that will benefit from this video. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.